Yay. Our speaker today is Dr. Dennis Parker. He's going to speak to us about the Way of the Dragon. It's a lesson in legacy and leadership. Dr. Parker is a highly respected coach, athletic director, author, and seminar speaker. He has more than 3 decades of classroom and coaching experience at the junior high, high school, and college levels. His first book, Coaching to Change Lives, has been a leading character education program for nearly 17 years. Please help me welcome Dr. Dennis.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak before you to cover the thing that's really become the passion and almost an obsession in my life since 1981 when we first began doing this. A couple of questions. How many of y'all have heard me before, or this will be your first time? That always goes over coaches' heads. They never, when you speak at the clinic, they never do understand that. They all sit around going, second question, everybody get a handout? Let me explain the handout to you. About 25 years ago, I heard a guy speak, and he said that if you really do a good job speaking, everybody will remember 2 to 60% of what you say. If you do a great job speaking and they take notes or they answer questions, they'll remember 60 to 80% of what you say. If they listen, take notes, and discuss what you say, they will remember 80 to 100%. Well, since that time, every time I've spoken, I've tried to give everybody an opportunity to remember more than 2%. It also eliminated me from giving post-practice speeches when I was a head football coach. Matter of fact, one thing the kids liked about playing for me, maybe the only thing they liked about playing for me, was that there was never a speech after practice, because I wasn't going to sit there and talk to them and then remember 2%. So when we got through, I said, go home, and when the game was over. But if you look at the handout, I'm going to cover these things real quickly and go through them. If you look at the character, and it says character comes from exposures. Well, if you look at exposures are simply what we're exposed to. What do you watch on TV? What do you look at on the internet? What do you read? Who do you listen to? What do you listen to? Those are our exposures. Now, from those exposures, that's how we think. That's why we think the way we think, is because of what we're exposed to. Integration was awesome because all of a sudden we were exposed to a different culture of people, and it changed the way everybody thought, because everybody had these preconceived notions, which is called prejudice. And they had these preconceived notions of what it was. Well, the exposures made us think differently. You think, and so therefore you do. So your actions come from the way you think. Now your actions determine your self-respect. Now you can call it self-image, self-portrait, anything else, but it really comes down to self-respect. And that's what it comes down to. Now, how important is self-respect? One cannot perform in a manner that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. Every human being sitting in this room has a picture of themselves at the back of their mind. That portrait is so important because it determines how you're going to perform. You cannot perform in a manner that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. Max Thompson did a study in 1983 on how kids learn. And he found there were 3 factors: IQ, organization, and self-image. 25% of the reason you learn is based on your IQ. 25% of the reason you learn is based on organization, which is the curriculum, the teacher, the home environment, things like that. 50% of the reason you learn is based on your self-image. How many classes you got in self-image? 0. See, we're going after the symptoms, not the problems. And the idea is that your self-respect is going to determine what your expectations are. If I have enormous self-respect, if I have a good self-image, then I'm going to expect great things to happen. If I have a good self-image, I expect to win. I expect to be successful. So then my attitude is what? Very positive. Well, how important is attitude? Well, everybody in the room knows attitude is the most important thing there is. Stanford proved it by determining that there's 2 things in being successful. Number 1 is ability. You got to have some ability to be successful. Number 2 is attitude. 8% of the reason you're successful is based on your ability. 8%. How much of that do you inherit from your parents? All your ability. How much of your attitude do you inherit from your parents? Don't blame your parents if you're not successful, because you didn't inherit your attitude from your parents. And 92% of the reason you're successful is based on your attitude. Harvard did a study to find out what it takes to get a job, keep a job, move up in a job. 15% of the reason you get a job, keep a job, move up in a job is based on technical skills and knowledge. 85% is based on your attitude. Everybody in this room knows that. I don't care, every great coach I've ever worked with had a great attitude. I think some of the most technically proficient coaches that I know are very poor coaches because they don't have the right attitude. And you sit around and you say, I don't know why I'm not moving up in this job. Oh, let me help you there. I tell you, the attitude sucks. You know, and if the attitude sucks, you ain't gonna move up. You're not gonna keep the job. It's the attitude that changes everything, and it all goes back to exposures. Now here's what's interesting to me. Our generation, we sit around, us old people, and we say we didn't need those at character. All you had to do was teach us math, science, English, and history. All you had to do was teach us how to block and tackle. You didn't need to teach us all that character. No, but everybody else taught it to us. The kids today, look at the difference in exposures. When I was a kid, I remember when we first got our first TV. You remember that? You remember what you watched? Snow. You'd have to go out and turn the antenna to get the 3-4 channel. You know, and then when you watch it, what you watch? Leave It to Beaver. Gunsmoke. Good always prevailed. Justice was always right. The good guy wore the white hat. It always worked. Your mom could sit there and say, you see what Beaver's doing? That's exactly what I talked to you about the other day. So they actually taught us character on the TV. How about the TV? How about you had 3 networks, you had 4 national magazines. You ever read about a president cheating on his wife? You ever read about a sports figure that didn't do what he should have done? No. What were we exposed to? You can say we were naive, or you can say anything you want to, but the truth of it is our exposures were all the pure, the powerful, and the positive. How about today? Average 18-year-old will see 200,000 murders by the time he's 18 on TV. He's going to witness 200,000 murders. He is going to have 148,000 negative stimuli pumped into his brain. Albert Einstein proved that for every negative stimuli that goes into your brain, you've got to have 11 positive to counteract it. So that means he's got to get 1.6 million positives. Where's he going to get them? Average family today spends 7 minutes a week in quality time by studying down at the University of Michigan. 3 minutes a week of meaningful conversation between parents and children. And that's amazing. So they're not going to get it at home. Church attendance is the lowest it's ever been. So if they don't get it in the public school, they don't get it at all. 1981, I'm a high school coach in San Antonio, Texas. We're 7-3 and we're not in the playoffs. We got a great coaching staff, got a great group of guys, and we should have been better than we were. But we're sitting there and we're saying, okay, how come we're not in the playoffs? What do we got to do differently this coming off season to make sure we get in the playoffs? And we sit around, there's 8 guys on that staff, and not one person mentions football. Not one person mentions anything physical. They say we got a bad self-image. Kids won't accept responsibility. We got poor leadership. We have poor team chemistry. I mean, on and on and on. And it's all about character. It's all about this mental part of football. And we say, okay, what are we going to do differently? Because, you know, Einstein said that the definition of insanity is keep doing what you've been doing and expect different results. We go back in the weight room, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be 7-3 again. How are we going to change what we're doing? We couldn't find a single school in this country, high school or college, that was spending time daily on character, on the mental part of football. And we said, okay, we're going to start doing it. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but when you think about it, we gave up 15 minutes a day out of 50 minutes a day. But see, in the UIL, you only get 50 minutes a day for off-season football. So we took 15 out of that 50, and we said we're going to teach self-image. We're going to teach attitude, we're going to teach responsibility, we're going to teach goals, we're going to teach leadership, we're going to teach character. We're going to take 15 minutes. They're scared. I've never been so scared in my life. I just knew when we walked in there and sat those kids down and said, okay, we're going to talk to you guys about character. They were going to say, what's this got to do with football? Or, I didn't know what they was going to say. But it was a scary thing for us. 1982, we started 15 minutes a day. By the way, I get tickled today because I used to, when I'd go out and do a lot of speaking, I'd go out and talk to a group of administrators, and they'd say, I don't know, 15 minutes a day. We only get 8 hours. Be a Texas high school football coach. But if you ain't in the playoffs the second year, you ain't there. That's how simple that is. So we go back and we start 1982. 1982, we're 14-1. Get beat in the semifinals. 1983, we won the Texas 5A state championship. Now, we win it, we gain notoriety because the largest human being on the football team is a 195-pound running back. We don't have a 200-pound player on the football team, 5A. We don't have a single player on the team that plays Division I football. So we gain notoriety not because we win the state championship, because we win the state championship without a star. We win the state championship based on what's on the inside, not what's on the outside. I moved to Marshall in 1984 and have a couple of tough years, and we hear, well, that works in San Antonio, but that doesn't work in East Texas. Until 1986, 87, 88, 89, and 90. And we win the district those 5 years and have pretty good years and win the state championship in 1990. And that's from a town, Marshall had not won. The last playoff game they won before we went there, Y.A. Tittle was the quarterback. Now, the people that just laughed were my age. The young people go, Y.A. Tittle. So it makes it pretty simple. Now I'm going to give you an in-service on exactly how we do it. It makes it real simple. Because if we did it, obviously it's pretty simple. If you look at the handout and you go to the back page, it says things to do this week. That's Monday. When they come in on Monday, and this is a 3-hour in-service done in 10 minutes. So get ready. And if you want to talk about this or get any interest in doing it with any group of people or anything like that, if you'll call Marty Prince, I'm sure I'll be glad to come by and sit down and visit with you, do anything in the world that I can to help you do it, because I know it does make a difference. But if you look at this is what we do on Monday. If you look at things to do this week, are you there? That's what they do on Monday. They come in and there's kind of a mini lesson. And what it's trying to do is get them to focus on being result-oriented, not just coming to school. So here's what I'm going to get done this week. I'm going to get 3 to 5 things done this week. And they write them down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now that's Monday. Tuesday, if you look back on Tuesday, you're going to see a lesson on screw the braces. And this is a lesson, it's a true story, and all the lessons are simply stories. When we went to find out how do you teach self-image, attitude, character, leadership, we actually went to a mental health clinic. We did, in Dallas, Texas. And we asked them, we said, how do you teach these things? And they said, you tell stories. And over the course of the years since then, Ben Franklin in 1757 wrote an article on character education, and he says you have 2 choices. You can teach it or you can preach it. And that's your 2 choices. And if you preach it, you better find somebody to blame, because it's going to end up being a blame game. Now that's 1757. It hasn't changed. You make a decision, I'm going to teach character or I'm going to preach it. Now I can sit around and say, you guys got a bad attitude. And they're going to say, well, what are you doing about it? You're not doing anything about it. We're going to put you in ISS. What's the #1 fastest growing industry in this country? Anybody want to guess? Prison industry. Because they go to prison, we teach them how to be a plumber. Well, they ain't not in prison because they don't know how to fix a commode. They in prison because they got a character flaw. And until you fix that character flaw, they're going to stay in prison. You can put a kid in ISS until he turns blue in the face, and he's still going to have a trust struggle. It ain't punishment that we need to be looking for. It's prevention. You got 2 choices. You're either going to be proactive and try to change them, or you're going to be reactive. And I've said it from day one. 1981, we quit coaching football and started coaching kids. And when we make kids better,